Former President Thabo Mbeki will be leading celebrations in Guinea, and that's where he will be the main speaker for the annual lecture, which for the first time this year is taking place outside South Africa. Newzroom Afrika's senior reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo joining us now from Guinea, and Govin Whittles, by the way, standing by at the Cradle of Humankind. Let's begin with Ziyanda, who is in Guinea. Ziyanda, good morning to you. And this annual lecture by the Mbeki Foundation, there is a particular significance to why it is being held in Guinea. Explain that to us.
Well, Kolu, you'll know that the patron of the Mbeki Foundation, that's of course former President Thabo Mbeki, and his organization have basically said that they espouse Pan-African values, and they responded to a call from other African countries who felt that, well, you can't say you espouse Pan-African values when you only celebrate Africa Day in South Africa. So the foundation deemed it apt to actually come to Guinea-Conakry, which is in West Africa, to come and commemorate this day. Some historical ties as well there with our own anti-apartheid efforts. For an example, Miriam Makeba spending 10 years here in Guinea-Conakry whilst in exile, and this is where, of course, she also got an opportunity to hone in her musical skills. There'll be a Miriam Makeba musical tribute, but also you'll know that in West Africa there have been several peace and security issues that need to be dealt with. So just as an example, the place, an area that we're staying in, literally right next door, there's a refugee compound from which is hosting refugees who come in via boats from Sierra Leone, which is one of the countries that's bordering Guinea at the moment. So this has been an ongoing crisis since the early 2000s. And when we talk about 60 years of the existence of the Organization of African Unity, which is now the AU, what strides have been made by African leaders, one, to deal with this ever so growing immigration crisis on the continent, but also when it comes to peace and security. So for an example, even here in Guinea-Conakry, there's currently a transitional government in place after a military coup in 2021 that ousted former President Alpha Conde. So democracy on the African continent also being one of the key issues that is likely to be outlined. But also, you know, Koli, you'll know that there are 6 countries that are going to be sending envoys or heads of states to Ukraine and Russia, and yet there's been criticism that here on the very African continent, you still have an ongoing, raging war in Sudan, the Tigray region in Ethiopia, the Great Lakes region in the DRC. So many issues on the continent, and yet there are other countries that are sending envoys to Russia and Ukraine. These are issues that we expect the patron of the foundation to reflect on here today, alongside Prof. Siba Grovanga, who's a West African professor and will be one of the key speakers for the Mbeki lecture taking place this Saturday.
Ngcobo, thank you very much. A beautiful, beautiful place where she is talking to us from. Tranquility, perhaps, is the word I would put to it. But as she puts it, issues of peace and stability, or peace and security, that is exactly what that area where she's at, it masks this turbulent time on the continent. All right.